learns from it, and turns it into precision. The drunk man ignores it and walks into traps smiling. This is why empires fall not from invasion, but from indulgence. There is a reason why great strategists, conquerors, and thinkers treated alcohol as a tool, not a companion. They used it as a weapon against others, not themselves. They offered it at feasts to loosen tongues, to observe hidden motives, to test loyalties. They watched men drown their discretion in celebration and quietly took notes. To Machiavelli, weakness is not only visible, it is predictable. The man who must drink to feel free has already revealed where to strike. For once you know a man's indulgence, you know his price. That is why rulers never expose their vices in public. The moment you display what enslaves you, your enemy has found your leash. You see, alcohol is not merely poison for the body, it is poison for your myth. Every man of power cultivates a myth around himself. His silence becomes sacred, his composure becomes legend, but alcohol cracks that illusion. It turns mystery into noise, grace into clumsiness, control into chaos. The man who once commanded a room with a glance now stumbles through words and gestures. His myth evaporates, replaced by memory of his weakness. And people do not forget weakness. They pretend to forgive it, but it remains in their subconscious, reshaping their respect. They no longer see a lion, they see a man pretending to roar. The cost of that is immeasurable, because power, once humanized, is never feared the same way again. Consider the subtle cruelty of this exchange. The bottle promises relief from the pressure of maintaining power. It tells the weary man, take a break, you deserve it. But that break is a fracture. One moment of indulgence becomes a pattern of compromise. The drinker begins to say, just tonight, just this once, just to unwind. These are the whispers of decay disguised as reason. Every empire falls with those same words, just once. The destruction of self always begins with negotiation, and no man can negotiate with poison and win. It waits, it listens, it knows your weakness better than you do. If you wish to see the true danger of alcohol, look not at the drunk, but at the man who drinks occasionally, the man who tells himself he is in control. For him, alcohol is not addiction, it is insurance against emotion. He uses it to escape thought when thought becomes unbearable. He uses it to create illusion when reality becomes too clear. But when you train your mind to retreat at the first sign of discomfort, you weaken the muscle that rules the world, endurance. The sober mind endures its storms, the drunk mind hides from them, and a man who hides from storms will never command the sea. And that is how alcohol turns strength into softness. Quietly, invisibly, without resistance. It convinces men that softness is safety, that the edge of awareness is something to dull, not sharpen. But the truth is this, your edge is everything. It is what separates the disciplined from the distracted, the rulers from the ruled. Every sip dulls that edge a little more, until one day you cannot tell when you've been insulted, when you've been outmaneuvered, when you've been used. You start mistaking apathy for peace. You call your decline balance. You say you are enjoying life, not realizing life is enjoying you, devouring you slowly. Through pleasure you no longer question. The man who cannot sit alone in silence without seeking a drink has already admitted he is not in command of himself. He does not crave alcohol, he craves escape from his own reflection. And that, my friend, is the beginning of moral decay. Alcohol seduces you not with power, but with permission. It whispers, you've worked hard, you deserve this. That is its most dangerous lie. For power does not reward indulgence, it demands abstinence. The king who indulges too much in luxury forgets his hunger, and a king who forgets his hunger invites rebellion. The strategist must learn to love denial. There is strength in wanting and not giving in. There is dominance in saying no to yourself when every voice around you says yes. But when you drink, you reverse that dynamic. You reward yourself for existing, not for achieving. You trade the satisfaction of mastery for the convenience of momentary pleasure. And every time you yield to that convenience, you rewrite your character to expect reward without conquest. Slowly, you become your own enemy's apprentice. Think about the men who built civilizations, the generals, the poets, the inventors, the prophets. They all had one thing in common, a willingness to face reality without anesthesia. They endured the full intensity of existence, the boredom, the pain, the fear, the uncertainty, and in doing so, they discovered clarity. They didn't need to escape the human condition, they mastered it. But modern man, weak and overstimulated, cannot tolerate stillness. He runs from his thoughts as if they were assassins. He seeks relief in the bottle, not realizing that relief is the enemy of greatness. A mind that cannot handle discomfort will never handle destiny. Alcohol is not leisure, it is surrender disguised as sophistication. When you are sober, life is vivid. Every detail becomes intelligence. You notice the smallest changes in a person's tone, the faint hesitation before a lie, the flicker in their eyes when they are plotting. You see the hierarchy in every room, the hidden alliances, the quiet power plays. You move like a ghost through the battlefield, unseen but aware. That is what clarity gives you. But when you drink, you dim that vision. You dull the very senses that keep you alive in a world ruled by perception. The man who loses perception loses advantage. And when you lose advantage, you lose control. Alcohol convinces you that the night is yours, but in truth, the night belongs to those who stay awake. Every empire that fell did so under the illusion of safety. The walls stood tall, the guards were posted, the music played. Inside, the rulers drank to their own invincibility, blind to the cracks forming beneath their feet. Alcohol creates the same illusion within a man. He feels untouchable, relaxed, certain that everything is fine. That false certainty is lethal. It blinds him to the slow decay of his discipline, and discipline, once lost, is not easily rebuilt. It is the spine of power. Break it once, and the body collapses no matter how strong the arms appear. The bottle offers a moment of comfort, but extracts decades of potential. It promises ease, but demands submission. A sober man, in contrast, is feared. His restraint unsettles people. His control exposes their chaos. They call him boring, rigid, arrogant, because his existence reminds them of what they've lost. They will try to hand him a drink not to include him, but to dilute him. Misery seeks company, but weakness seeks permission. If you refuse the drink, you remind others of their lack of control, and so they resent you, not because you are wrong, but because you are free. Understand this. Sobriety is not merely abstaining from alcohol. It is declaring war on dependence itself. It is telling the world, you cannot seduce me with escape. That is the foundation of sovereignty. There is a silence that only the sober know, the silence of an untamed mind at peace with itself. In that silence, you begin to see the architecture of power. You understand that the world belongs not to the entertained, but to the disciplined. The drunk man wakes up asking for more comfort. The sober man wakes up seeking more control, and control is the purest form of pleasure there is. It is not loud or intoxicating, it is calm, deliberate, divine. The sober mind sees beauty in focus, ecstasy in composure, victory in restraint. That is the true intoxication, the clarity that no substance can replicate. The world fears a sober man because he cannot be bought, distracted, or deceived. He is dangerous precisely because he feels everything and still chooses command. The moment you take control of your desires, you take control of your life. And make no mistake, alcohol is a desire, one that robs you of control the moment you yield to it. You see, power does not lie in indulgence, it lies in your ability to resist it. The man who refuses the drink refuses not just alcohol, but the weakness it represents. The king who governs with restraint governs with dignity. The ruler who controls his impulses controls the world around him. There is a profound, almost mystical power in the ability to deny yourself. It is a power few men will ever know, because few are willing to embrace the struggle it demands. The drunk man surrenders to that struggle. He believes the fight against his own weakness is too much to bear. But the sober man knows something far more valuable, that every battle fought within and won builds a fortitude the world cannot destroy. Think of the greatest rulers of history, whether they were kings, emperors, or visionaries. What set them apart was not just their intellect or their ambition, but their ability to maintain an unbroken focus on their goals. They had the courage to say no to distractions, the discipline to say no to excess. While the world sought comfort, they sought conquest. While others indulged in fleeting pleasures, they endured the pains of greatness. They knew that in the quiet, sober moments, their minds were most alert, their wills most unshakable. The intoxicated mind may dream, but it cannot plan. It may hope, but it cannot achieve. The sober mind, however, is an instrument of action. It cuts through distractions, focuses on the target, and executes with precision. The greatest danger of alcohol is that it convinces you that you are in control when you are, in fact, at its mercy.